Welcome. Welcome to 30 Minute Reviews. I am Adam. So, with this new format, I'm kind of liking it. I don't know about any of you guys, but I'm really liking this format. And I just realized I didn't do predictions for this year. Predictions for what's going to happen in the so far beautiful and very snowy 2022. So, here we are. We're going to do that today. We have 10 predictions for things that are going to happen between now and the end of the year. I'll give thoughts as to why for each. So with that all said, let's strap in and get ready. Let's start with number 10. I think the highest grossing movie of this year is going to end up being Multiverse of Madness. I think we're going to see a similar thing with The Flash as with Batman vs. Superman, where it's going to have a very strong opening weekend, and then it's going to fall off a cliff. Because I think we're running into a similar issue there, where the movie's not going to be as good as people are hoping, and it's not going to be enough to carry the box office over the threshold to be the number one movie. Multiverse of Madness, I think, is going to have enough there. It's going to be riding on the high of Spider-Man No Way Home, and it's going to ride those coattails to the top of the box office in a way that other movies aren't. I think that there is not enough interest in Ezra Miller as the Flash. I don't think there's enough interest. I think that the thing that's going to carry the movie is going to be the return of Michael Keaton. But the thing with that is we know Michael Keaton's coming in other things too, so it makes it less special and impactful. Like, when it comes to, Spider-Man, we don't know for certain if Amazing Spider-Man 3 is going to happen or not. We don't know if they're going to make Spider-Man 4 or not. I mean, both of those are on the table, but, we don't know if it's going to happen. And I think that that's going to be the big the big thing that's going to hurt this movie is that they gave away Batman. And I don't know that we're going to get a key Batman moment in this movie that's going to resonate enough. And the other thing is, I think that Michael Keaton is too far back for modern audiences. I think the analog would have been if Christian Bale returned to that. And I think that, too, the thing that Multiverse of Madness is going to have that the others don't is I think that for certain they're adding in cameos of other characters. For certain, they're going to bring in at least one X-Man. Be it Professor X, be it, any one of them from the Fox movies. Someone's going to show up. I would not be surprised if Eoin Gruffield shows up. I wouldn't be surprised if Andrew Garfield showed up. I think that the only reason why that's less likely is because it requires the crossover from, It requires the crossover from Sony. Meanwhile, Disney owns Fox, so they can just bring in those Fox characters. But I think there's a lot of love still, for those Fantastic Four movies and for the X-Men movies. And I think that if they keep that close to the vest the way they did with Spider-Man, and then we get to the movie coming out, and then it's like, holy fuck, Professor X is here. Holy fuck, here's Mr. Fantastic from when we watched him so many years ago. And it'd be really cool if he was the villainous Mr. Fantastic going forward. That would be cool. I'd be totally okay with all of that. But I think Multiverse of Madness is going to be the movie that's going to be the top box office. I don't think The Flash has anything else really good. Like, oh, look, here's Supergirl. But who? We have a new actress playing Supergirl, which I think that had they brought in Helen Slater or had they brought in Melissa Benoist, that would have been better. They saying, oh, here's the new Supergirl is not enough. And you can't just bring in characters they've already been with, because you can't be like, oh, and here's Henry Cavill back. That may get some people in, but not as many. That you're already getting with Ben Affleck's final outing as Batman. Number 2, Belfast will win Best Picture, and it'll be hotly contested. It's going to be like Green Book in 2018, or 2019 when Green Book won, and people were like, what the fuck? That movie was shitty. It's going to be something similar to that, where Belfast is going to win Best Picture, and it's like, really? It's inoffensive, it's one of those movies designed to win an Oscar, and that's exactly what it's going to do. It's going to go out, it's going to win that Oscar, and it's going to make people upset. Me included, because I don't think Belfast should win Best Picture. Now, Now, number 3. This is a gut feeling I have based on books that I've read over the last few years that have had movies in the franchise in the past. Ready Player 2 and A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes will both be announced. I think both are in early development right now for the theatrical releases, but both are going to get hard release dates. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is going to come out in November of 2024, and Ready Player 2 is going to come out in July of 2023. Respectively, Steven Spielberg will not be returning to direct Ready Player 2. It'll be someone different. But Francis Lawrence will return to direct A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And I think that there is a solid chance that the returning... I think that if someone's going to play young President Snow, I know this is going to sound like me bandwagoning or giving an easy choice, or just I like Dune, so this is the choice that I think fits. I think if anyone can play the gravitas of a young Donald Sutherland, I think it has to be Timothée Chalamet. And he'll be announced to be the lead in that movie. And that's the thing, too. It'll be an audience drag for a Hunger Games movie, and that's going to be the thing. If it's split up into 3 movies, I would not be surprised, or into 2 movies, I would not be surprised. I think 3 works. The book really was, 3 distinct parts. But I could see that, but I think that it's a safe bet. Number 4, Green Arrow and the Canaries will finally get picked up, but it'll be picked up on HBO Max, and we'll be joining the slate there. I think that we're going to see a slow migration of things to HBO Max, and that's, 5 is, well, that's the continuation, is that the CW will end The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow. The Flash will end after season 8, but they'll know that going into the finale, and the show will end with Barry going back in time to face a reverse Flash at the night his mother dies and wave himself off so he doesn't go to Flashpoint like we see in season 1. That's going to be it. It's going to be a full loop ending, and it's going to end there at the end of the season. And then on top of that, Legend of Tomorrow will also end. The show has been hemorrhaging money and viewers for years, and I'm surprised it's gone on this long. But it is going to come to an end, I believe, after this season. If that is the case, then it is a surprise to me that it went on for 6 years. Like, holy shit, good for them. I know I've shit on the show sometimes, but good for them. 6 years is a long time for a TV show. So they will end. Stargirl, before season 3 debuts, will be announced to be ending with season 3, and then that will be the end of the DC on the CW, unless Batwoman is still there too. But I think Batwoman is going to get one more season after this. And then Naomi will get renewed for season 2 as well. But I do think that Green Arrow and the Canaries will fit better on HBO Max. And they can have a budget to go with it. That said, what they could do is, now that they're doing multiverse stuff in the movies too, they could have Mia be the Green Arrow of the Justice League movies, and that would really piss off Stephen Amell, because he was the one who was lobbying for a long time that should be it. And yeah, you wouldn't be able to do the romance. I think it'd be really creepy if Journey Smollett-Bell was in a relationship with the girl who plays Mia Queen. But things happen. So yeah, that's the CW predictions. Number 5, Rogue Squadron will be removed from development entirely. This one I really underlined after yesterday's comments by Gal Gadot, that they're not shooting Wonder Woman 3 until for another year and a half. I can guarantee Disney saw that interview and they're like, fuck this. Like, what the fuck? They're not shooting that for a year and a half. They're not shooting that movie until this movie was supposed to have been out for a year. Because remember, that movie was supposed to, it's supposed to be a good 6 months between them starting, there was no reason why Wonder Woman 3 was going to come out then. So yeah, I believe that's that's happening there. I think that they're going to remove that. They're going to remove, what's her name? Patty Jenkins from the release schedule. And she will be removed from the project. And then they will, Kathleen Kennedy, I don't know for certain if she's extended her contract. If it has not been extended and this happens, she will have her contract not extended beyond her current expiration date. And then Kevin Feige's next movie will take the 2025 slot and will be directed by Chloe Zhao. That's my prediction for Star Wars. I have another Star Wars thing a little bit lower down too. Continuing on Chloe Zhao, Eternals will get a sequel. It may not be a theatrical, it may be a series on Disney Plus, but there will be a sequel series to there will be a sequel in some form to to Eternals. But Chloe Zhao will not be back to direct, I don't think. I think that if she has good success outside of that system, I think that they want to expedite the story as quickly as possible, and I think they want to have that be there. It's gonna not be happy because, like, if you look at like other movies where they remove, like, if you look at like first movies where the director has differed from the first to the second that Marvel has done, it's like Thor, which had Kenneth Branagh direct the first, and I forgot who directed the second. It was what's his name? Joe Johnston, who directed the first Captain America movie and then didn't direct 2 and 3. I can see that happening with Chloe Zhao too. And it's like, look, it's not an indictment of your ability as a director to not come back for your second movie. I think that Chloe Zhao is a fantastic director. I think she deserved it for her Best Director win for Nomadland. I really like The Eternals. I can't wait to watch it in 2 weeks when it goes to Disney Plus. But I don't think that it's a good fit for her to come back to do this. I think a standalone Star Wars movie is a better use of her abilities and her vision in a way that this really isn't. Because I think that this is kind of like, you know, there is definitely a sign that, you know, I don't think she would have put Kit Harington in as Dane Whitman in as much as she would have as in this movie if it weren't for the fact that was a corporate mandate. But I feel like it's, you know, it's that kind of thing where we're like, they're going to get a new director to try and reinvigorate it. And it's not because of her, it's just they don't want to have like, oh, look, Chloe Zhao did that, now she's doing this one, and they don't want anyone who didn't like this one to be like, you know, what the fuck? And then not come back and see it. We'll get official titles for Captain America 4 and for Spider-Man 4. I think these titles will be Captain America Serpent Society, which was previously teased to be the title of Captain America 3 before it was revealed to be Civil War. And that was, you know, when they were at the thing, they had a logo mock-up for it. I could see them doing that and having Hydra come back stronger and bigger in the face of a black Captain America. I think that would work. I think that works very well. And then Spider-Man is going to be Spider-Man Home for the Holidays. I think it'll continue this trend of Spider-Man movies. It'll pick up right after the last one, and it'll be him trying to get MJ back right after the last movie wrapped. So I think that's, you know, coming. 2 announcements that I think are imminent as well. By the end of the year, there will be an announcement for the Black Adam vs. Shazam or Black Adam vs. Superman movie, whichever one they do first. I think they're going to do Black Adam vs. Superman. Or Black Adam vs. Well, I think you have to do both at once, because I don't think there's a narrative reason for him to fight one, then fight the other. But they'll figure it out. That's not my job. My job is to just say what I think is going to happen. And I think we're going to get a Spider-Man vs. Sinister Six movie. And I think it's going to be Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man getting to make his third. I think Mark Webb won't be coming back to direct, but it will be someone else. Maybe Drew Goddard will come and direct that, because he was the director who was supposed to do Sinister Six. For back to Star Wars, I think that Kenobi, I think Mandalorian Season 3, and I think Ahsoka will not be able to live up to the expectations that are being set for it. I think that Mandalorian Season 2 ended on such a note that there is no going up from it. They cannot get better than where they ended off Season 2. So it'll just fall flat. I think Kenobi has had such high expectations set by the audience. I don't think it can hit those expectations. And same with Ahsoka. I think Ahsoka is kind of like presenting itself in a way as we've seen right now. For what we've seen, I think it's kind of presenting itself as this is, the new canon version of Heir to the Empire. And I see it. I understand it. I just don't think that it'll work. I think here's the thing. I think this is going to be a very bad year for Star Wars. Because I think that this is going to be the year that people start to lose faith in what's it called? In Dave Filoni. And Dave Filoni starts getting thrown under the bus. I think in Book of Boba Fett, we're starting to see the indication that like Dr. Aphra is making an appearance, or Dr. Aphra may be coming soon. I think that Ahsoka taking the role of Luke Skywalker in an Heir to the Empire live-action show is not going to rub people the right way. And I feel like it's just, there's a lot of things that are not going to be well received. And I think that the amount of rope that Filoni has to run out at some point. Where the subset of the fan base who's been appeasing and letting him do what he wants, and letting him be like, like letting him tell his stories the way he wants to, just because it's not Kathleen Kennedy doing it, or it's not JJ doing it. When he starts falling into the same types of storytelling, not that it's bad to have women in leads, but when that starts happening in a bigger way, it's going to fall by the wayside. And that's where people are going to start turning on him. And then the conspiracy theories will start that someone got to him, or something like that. Or Kathleen Kennedy's still there, still in charge, or whatever the case may be. But conspiracy theories will be abound about it. And I think that's going to happen by the end of the year. And I think Andor will be well received, because I think no one has expectations for. And I think that's the key to Star Wars, is that if you have no expectations, you can't be disappointed. So, like, The Mandalorian, I went into with zero expectations. I think a lot of people went into The Mandalorian thinking, like, alright, let's see how this is. This is going to be fine. And then it turns out really good. Same with The Clone Wars, same with Rebels, same with The Bad Batch. But then once expectations start getting set, where it's like, Mandalorian has now set a standard for itself. And now that we have expectations, we have expectations that we would see from a, from a Star Wars show. I think that, Boba Fett in the title will set a standard. Ahsoka in the title, and Ahsoka doing this kind of story will set a standard that we can clearly look to one and the other. And the thing is, it can be identical, but with Ahsoka in the lead, and it'll be like, well, it's not Luke, and people will be pissy. And you know what? That's an entirely different conversation to have. But I think that's going to be the ultimate problem with Star Wars this year, is that Filoni is going to get to the point where he's telling stories the way he wants, and he's using the characters the way he wants. If people forget, people hated Ahsoka in 2008. I didn't forget that. I remember, because it's like, I remember living through that, where it's like, they introduced Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, and then there was a rewrite of Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, the novelization, where it mentions Ahsoka, and when he's having his flashes as he's remembering everything to turn on the Emperor. It's one of those things where it's like, you gotta talk, like, I don't understand. How people forgot about that. Number 9, Echo will be coming out in 2023, I assume, not 2022, but it'll start shooting by the end of the year. I think Charlie Cox will be a series regular on that show. Because I don't think Kingpin is dead. I think anyone who thinks Kingpin is dead should come see me, because I have a bridge to sell you. There was a great bit in one of the Cinema Sins years ago, where it was like, raise your hand if you actually think that Nick Fury's dead. All right, now if you're not a toddler, keep your hand up. It's like he's not dead. There's no way, because it's like, first of all, no body. That he's not dead. There's no body for Kingpin. He's not dead. Number 2, the gun. We don't even see a gunshot. If he got shot in the chest at point blank range, I'd be like, all right, he's probably still alive. If he got shot in the head, I'd be like, well, they did this in the comics too, and he survived it there. If we don't see a gun go off and point it at him and strike him in some way, there's no way he got shot. So by the end of that show, he's going to, he will be the bad guy, and Echo will be, Charlie Cox reprising. It'll be basically Daredevil season 4. But it's going to be predominantly Echo with Charlie Cox also there. I think that's an interesting thing that they could do. And then finally, because Dune is expected to come out in 2023, I think we're going to get casting of Fade Routha in the next year. I think it's going to be Harry Styles. I think we mentioned that when the Dune movie came out and we did our discussion of Dune, and we were talking about who could play Fade Routha. I don't think it's going to be Barry Keoghan or whatever his name is from the Eternals. And I think that it's going to be what's it called? I think it's going to be Harry Styles. I think he can play it better. I think, and look, I think he's the best. I think he's the best choice for the role. So yeah, I think that's a pretty solid, 10 things that are going to happen this year. If you have thoughts, do you disagree with me? Do you agree with me blindly? Am I an idiot? The email is 30minutereviews@gmail.com. Feel free to write in. Other predictions will make future episodes from people. I don't know. I just feel like when I watch this, this is how I think things are going to end up this year. And it feels unfair to have put it out this late, because I wrote these predictions a week ago, and I was like, oh well, I think the Flash can, and I've been saying Flash can end since Armageddon. Legends of Tomorrow has been hemorrhaging for a while. I'm not sure how it's still in the air. And Stargirl, I think, same thing. Will not have the viewership to continue on past the next season. If it does, it'll end up on HBO Max, I think. But yeah, these views may be cynical, but I think that they're fairly accurate. So with that, we'll be back next week with news and discussions and all of that good stuff. If there's something you want to talk about, feel free to email it. Feel free to email in 30minutereviews@gmail.com, and we will go through and anything interesting. I will use the conversation topics during an episode. So until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.